Hello, dear children. Today we will do the MCQs of Lesson 9 Reproduction in Animals. Reproduction is a way in which new organisms are produced from their parents. It is like creating a new life, that is, producing young ones of own kind generation after generation. And children, reproduction is essential for the continuation of a species. So think what would happen if organisms do not reproduce. In such a situation, after the death of an organism, there would be no organisms left on the earth. So that particular species will perish. So the process of reproduction ensures continuity of the life on earth. Like human beings reproduce by giving birth to babies, and these babies they grow and ultimately they become adults, and when the old parents they die, their sons and daughters they keep living on the earth. So sons and daughters they also reproduce by giving birth to more babies, and this process goes on and on. So reproduction by human beings ensures that human species will continue to exist on this earth for all the time. Similarly, we see that cats reproduce by giving birth to kittens so that their species may live. Dogs reproduce by giving birth to puppies so that their species may continue to live on earth. Similarly, a duck reproduces by giving birth to duckling. A deer reproduces by giving birth to fawn, a cow, a calf, and so on. So basically, there are two modes of reproduction. That is, the individuals reproduce by two modes. One is the sexual reproduction, which is characterized by the fusion of two cells, and these cells are called gametes, one from each parent. That is the male gamete, which is called the sperm, and the ova or ovum from the female, that is the female gamete. So this usually they're coming from two parents. They are coming from two parents. The male and the female gametes after fusion give rise to a zygote, and then which develops into a new individual. And the other mode, it is the asexual reproduction. That is, asexual reproduction is a type of reproduction which does not involve the union of gametes. Thus, we can say that in asexual reproduction, only one parent is needed to produce a new organism, and no sex cells are involved in this type of reproduction, that is asexual reproduction. Some of the examples of asexual reproduction are like the binary fission in amoeba. The amoeba, it just gets splits up into two parts to produce new amoebae. And in organisms like hydra, they also grow out of the parent's body in the form of a bud. So here it is to be noted that asexual reproduction is the simplest method of reproduction. It takes place mainly in those animals whose bodies have a simple structure. Also, the baby produced, that is the offspring or the young one we call, it is an exact copy of the parent in the asexual reproduction time. Whereas if we see in the sexual reproduction, the young one or the offspring produced is not an exact copy of the parents. There are differences in the organism produced in this type of reproduction, and two parents are needed to produce this new organism. So let's start the question number 1 for this chapter. The animals that give birth to young ones are known as dash. So what are the animals that give birth to young ones are called? So if we see the first option, that is oviparous. Oviparous animals are those animals which lay eggs. Means they lay eggs to reproduce. Examples for this are birds and snakes. So this is not the option. And the second option is viviparous. Viviparous are those animals which give birth to young ones. So this is the right answer. So option B is the right answer for this. Then question 2. Tadpole is the developing stage of dog, cat, frog, humans. So the developing stage of frog, it is the example of metamorphosis, that is the change from tadpole to frog. So the eggs in frog hatch to tadpole, and the tadpole undergoes drastic changes to become an adult frog, and this whole process it is called metamorphosis. So then question 3, where does the fusion of male and female gametes generally take place? So the fusion of male and female gametes means sperm and the egg or ovum. It takes place in the female reproductive system and the part is fallopian tube or oviducts. So they are also called oviducts through which eggs travel, sperms and ovum meet here and the fertilization takes place over here in the fallopian tube. So question 4, name the structure formed after fertilization. So what is fertilization? It is the fusion of the egg with the sperm and the process is called fertilization. Fertilization is internal as it is taking place inside the female's body in the oviduct. So what exactly happens over here in this process, that the nuclei of the sperm and the eggs, they fuse to form a single nucleus. Means both nuclei, they fuse so that a single nucleus is formed and as a result the fertilized egg, that is called zygote. So zygote is the new structure formed. Zygote is the beginning of the new individual. So option B, zygote, is the right answer for this question 4. Then moving on to question number 5. Eggs are formed in the eggs are formed in the female reproductive system. That part is the ovaries. There are two ovaries. So a single egg is formed in one ovary alternatively. So organs of the female reproductive system, the pair of ovaries in which the ova or the eggs, they are about 120 micrometer in diameter. So here the option C, that is the eggs are formed in the ovary of the female reproductive system. C is the right answer. Then question 6, how many modes of reproduction are there in animals? We have read this in the beginning of this video that there are two modes of reproduction, sexual and asexual. Sexual, in which two parents are required, asexual, in which only one parent is required. In asexual reproduction, the individual or the animal produced is the exact copy of the parents, whereas in sexual reproduction, the organism has differences. It is not the exact copy of the parents. So question 7, a sperm consists of dash parts, means how many parts a sperm is composed of. So a sperm is a single-celled male gamete, means it has a one cell, but it has three parts. It has a head with a nucleus, a middle piece, and a long tail. So the sperms, they are mobile only because of this tail. So option C, that is, it is made up of three parts, is the right answer. Question 8, what is fetus? So fetus is the zygote formed after fertilization. It begins to develop into an embryo and it starts dividing repeatedly to produce a ball of cells. And this ball of cells, like this is the developing structure. This is called embryo. It attaches itself to the wall of the uterus and it further develops then, gradually differentiating into different body parts. So the option is option A. Answer is option A, well-developed embryo. A fetus is a well-developed embryo. Then question 9. The transformation of the larva into an adult through drastic changes is called. So we have done this in the previous question where the tadpole undergoes so many drastic changes to form an adult frog, and that process we read, it is called metamorphosis. So option B is the right answer for question 9. Then moving to question 10. Cloning is a mode of dash. So what is cloning? Cloning is the production of an exact copy of an animal by means of asexual reproduction. So it is a mode of option B, asexual reproduction. In this, an animal which is genetically identical to its parent, that is called clone, it is produced, and the clone is an exact copy of its parent. The cloning of a large animal was successfully done for the first time by Wilmot and his colleagues. So the cloned sheep named Dolly from its parent sheep called Finn Dorest sheep. So that was a female sheep. So Dolly was born on 5th July 1996 and it was the first mammal to be cloned. So here the question comes that name the first mammal that was cloned. So in 1996, dolly sheep that was cloned, and it was the first animal or mammal to be cloned. Question 11. Sets of reproductive terms are given below. Choose the set that has an incorrect combination. Means there the four options are there. So out of these four options, one option has a wrong combination of these terms. So if we see the first option, sperm, testis, sperm duct, and penis, all of these are the organs of the male reproductive system. And option B, menstruation, egg, oviduct, uterus, all of these are concerned with the female reproductive system. Then ovulation, egg, oviduct, uterus, these are also the ovulation occurs in the female reproductive system, and these are the organs of the female reproductive system. But in this option C, we see that there is a sperm, oviduct, egg, and uterus. While these three, the uterus, egg, and oviduct, are concerned with the female reproductive system, while sperm is the organ of the male reproductive system. So this has an incorrect combination. This combination is incorrect. So option C is the right answer for question 11. Then question 12. In humans, the development of fertilized egg takes place in the... So the development of the fertilized egg was called zygote. Zygote, we did earlier, it attaches itself to the embryo, it attaches itself to the wall of the uterus. So further development takes place in the uterus. For the next 9 months, the embryo that it is developing different parts. Means the developing embryo, it differentiates into different body parts, such as hands are made, legs, head, and other important parts are made in this. So option D, uterus, is the right answer. Means the development of the egg takes place in the uterus. So question 13. In the group of animals given below, hen is the odd one out. Human being, cow, dog, hen. The reason for this is, so here we have just read that those animals which give birth to young ones, they are called viviparous animals, and we see that human being, cow, and dog, all of they reproduce by giving birth to the young ones. While hen, it is an oviparous animal, that is the animal which lay eggs, from which young ones are hatched later on. So only the egg is the oviparous animals. So it is different. For this reason, it is the hen is the odd one out, because it is oviparous. So hen is oviparous, that is it lays eggs, that is why it is different. So question 14. Animals exhibiting external fertilization produce a large number of gametes. Pick the appropriate reason from the following. So here you need to know that there are two types of fertilization: external fertilization and internal fertilization. So internal fertilization is that type of fertilization in which the fusion of male gametes, that is the sperm, and the female gamete, that is the egg, it occurs inside the body of the female animal. So this is called the internal fertilization, and it takes place in a very large number of animals like humans, cows, dogs, cats, tigers, rabbits, deer, lions, etc. Also in insects such as silk moth, housefly, butterfly, and the reptiles like lizards, snake, and crocodiles, etc. So in all these animals, the fertilization that is occurring inside the body of the female animal. And on the other hand, the external fertilization, it takes place outside the female body. So in external fertilization, the female animal's eggs, they are fertilized by the sperms outside her body. Sometimes the eggs, they are laid in the water, so that the sperms are also released in the water, and the collisions of these two causes the fertilization to occur in water. So here the question is that external fertilization, like in case of frog, also there is external fertilization. So this produces a large number of gametes, right? So appropriate reason that animals exhibiting external fertilization produce a large number of gametes. So why do they produce a large number of gametes? So the answer is that if we see that they lay hundreds of eggs, so the hundreds of eggs laid by the female frog or the fish, they only out of those 100 eggs, only a few survive. Why? Because sometimes the eggs are eaten by the animals in the water, or sometimes they are carried away by moving water or wind. So, out of the hundreds of eggs laid down by the female frog or female fish, only a few get fertilized, and only a few they become larvae or survive to become the adult frogs or adult fish. So the option C, that is to ensure better chances of fertilization, that is more of individuals of their kind can be produced. So that's why they lay a large number, they produce a large number of gametes. Then question 15, reproduction by budding takes place in. So by budding, it takes place in hydra. Hydra is this simple multicellular animal. It reproduces by the process of budding. This happens like the hydra. First of all, it grows out. It is first a small outgrowth called bud is formed, and then that bud gradually grows to form a small hydra. So by developing in a mouth and tentacles, and finally the tiny new hydra, it detaches itself from the body of the parent hydra, and then it lives as a separate individual. So budding takes place in hydra. Option A is the right answer. So it is an asexual means of reproduction. And if we see the other option like amoeba, it grows by binary fission. In binary fission, the parent organism it splits or divides to form two new organisms. And when this happens, the parent organisms it stops to exist, and the two new organisms comes into existence. And the unicellular organism, it is called the amoeba. It reproduces by the method of binary fission, means by dividing its body into two parts. And we see the option C, paramecium, it also reproduces by binary fission, and the option D, that is bacteria, it also reproduces by binary fission. So option A, hydra, it only produces by budding. Then question 16, which of the following statements about reproduction in humans is correct? So option A, fertilization takes place externally. No. In humans, fertilization is internal in the female body. Then B, fertilization takes place in the testes. This is wrong. This is the organ of the male reproductive system, testes. Then option C, during fertilization, egg moves towards the sperm. No, it is the opposite. That is, the sperm always moves towards the egg. So A, B, and C are wrong. Option D, fertilization takes place inside the body of human female. Yes, this is the right answer. So option D is the right answer for question 16. Then question 17, in human beings after fertilization, the structure which gets embedded in the wall of the uterus is, so it is the embryo which gets attaches itself to the wall of the uterus, and then it further development takes place. So question 18, name the first animal that was cloned successfully. We have just read that it was the first animal and the first mammal, Dolly, with the name Dolly. So Dolly sheep, option A is the right answer. Then question 19, what is the full form of IVF? So IVF is in vitro fertilization. It is called so because this technique, that is the fertilization of an egg with the sperm, that is carried out in a glass tube rather than in the body of a woman. So this is commonly known as a test tube baby technique. So it is called IVF in short. Option A is the right answer. Then question 20, in human beings the correct sequence of events during reproduction is. So option A, that is gamete formation. First the gametes are formed, then fertilization occurs, then zygote is formed, and then the embryo formation is there, and the development of embryo in the uterus is there. So option A is the right answer. Question 21, how many daughter cells are produced after binary fission in amoeba? So we have read that binary fission is the method of asexual reproduction in which the one parent gets splits up or divides to form two new organisms. So here also, as the cell and the cytoplasm of the parent amoeba, it divides to form two smaller amoebae, and these are called, these organisms produced are called the daughter cells. So two smaller amoebae are produced, means option B, 2 is the right answer. Then question 22, which of the following is a viviparous animal? A viviparous animal is an animal or an individual which gives birth to its young ones. So the option A is salmon, cobra and salamander. All of these, they lay eggs to produce their baby, young ones or babies. So dolphin, which is a mammal, it is a viviparous animal. Option D is the right answer for this. Like all the mammals, these dolphins, they also reproduce through internal fertilization, and the females, they give birth to the young ones. So next question 23, which of the following shows budding? Children, we have read that in budding, a small part of the body of the parent organism grows out as a bud, and this bud then it detaches and then it becomes a new organism. So yeast, option A, it shows budding. This is the right answer. Then question 24, the process of release of an egg from the ovary is called. So in human beings, one mature egg is released into oviduct every month by one of the ovaries. And the release of an egg, or we call it ovum, from the ovary is called ovulation. So option C is the right answer. Then the last question of this chapter over here, which of the following is not a part of the reproductive system of the human female? So by now it must be clear to you that ovary, oviduct and uterus, all these three, the first three options, they are the parts or organs of the female reproductive system, while the testis is the only part which belongs to the male reproductive system. So option D is the right answer for question 25. So that's all for the questions for this chapter, children. I hope the concepts and the terms are clear to you. We'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Thank you.